Hi, my name is Nob. This is the same topic. This is the part 3 of Christianity and Voodoo are the same religions. After watching the first 2 videos, although they were short, I didn't put that much meat, but so far I already said 2 parallels that those 2 religions have. So this is part 3, so I'm gonna bring more out to show how Voodoo and Christianity are the same religion. But in the first video, I already talked about how Voodoo is way older than Christianity. Basically Christianity came from Voodoo, not the other way around, because Voodoo was here first. Voodoo, the so-called cult of the serpent, and then you have the Torah and a bunch of other religions that is obsessed with some serpent guy as a powerful entity. In every religion there's a serpent guy, and then in the Greek, this guy who was the god of medicine, Asclepius. I think that's how you pronounce it, even if it's not, it's close enough. Asclepius or Asclepius, whatever. He was the god of medicine in Greek, and then he had a staff. He had a staff with 2 serpents. I guess one female and one male. You know, it's called the staff of Asclepius. I think it's Asclepius, but whatever. I don't speak Greek. So the staff of Asclepius, and that's the symbol they have in medicine today, where you have the 2 serpents and a stick in the middle, and the staff. They got it straight from the god of medicine from the Greek. So the serpents, like I said, been the heathen, the pagan religion. They've been obsessed with a serpent guy, a powerful guy, you know. So that's why I can see the authors of the Torah, they kind of demonize that serpent thing. All of the heathens say, no, that's a good thing. That serpent. Even Christianity, Jesus say, be wise as a serpent. Although the Tanakh that he was reading didn't talk good about no serpent. It says that serpent, you need to stay away from him. This guy, and then that serpent was not a spirit like Christians trying to say. He's saying is Lucifer, he's a spirit. No, in Genesis, that was a physical guy. There was nothing spiritual about that guy. He's something that both Adam and Eve were talking to. And then it says, a time gonna come, his seed will be enemies to Eve's seed. So Eve was physical, and Eve has descendants, meaning that serpent also has descendants. So which means that serpent, just like Eve died, that serpent that has descendants in our time, that serpent been dead. So which is why I said people do not believe in that devil thing that Christians or all the heathen religion talking about, some Lucifer, some devil. So that serpent, if he has seed now, physical seed, just like Eve has physical seeds. So that serpent been dead. So the devil, I guess, if he was the devil, bad news for him. He's been dead. So there's no such thing as a devil flying around in heaven and Jesus, oh goofy guy, or Jesus gonna fight. Although in Voodoo, they're trying to make, when they give Ogu a picture, they give him Joseph, Mary's husband, a picture. But no, Voodoo has it wrong. Joseph has nothing to do with Ogu. Joseph was not a god of war. Jesus was, and was supposedly, and Ogu is a god of war. It's a law of war. Anybody who worship Ogu, you know this guy is supposedly gonna help you, because he's a god of war and also a god of alcohol. That guy drank a lot of alcohol. Every time somebody got Ogu in his head in Voodoo, he got a big bottle of a barbecue. Just like Jesus, his first miracle was turning water to wine. So Jesus and Ogu is the same thing. The so-called New Testament never said anything about Joseph being obsessed with drinking wine. They never called Joseph a wine bibber like they called Jesus. And they never said Joseph had anything red around him, like Jesus had red eyes, and Ogu got that handkerchief. So Jesus and Ogu is the same guy. So when you go and call him Jesus, you might as well go call all you Christians, when you go to church on Sundays to ask Ogu for something, on Monday I would advise you to go to the peristyle, the voodoo house, and ask Ogu, just in case Jesus isn't here. Maybe when you go to Ogu, then Ogu, you can remind him, say, look, on Sunday I did ask you. If he doesn't remember, say, look, in church I asked Jesus, which is you. So do you remember I asked you for a car or whatever it is? So now on Monday, I'm coming to go to the voodoo place now and ask Ogu for the thing. So now I give a couple of examples of those couple of videos I did, how to prove how voodoo and Christianity, they are the exact same religions. With the spirit thing, I broke down the second video with Jesus and Ogu in the first video. Here's one thing voodoo people do, voodoo practitioners do, that Christians do. How you know this is the same exact religions? They have this practice of exorcism. When they exorcise so-called spirits, I guess evil spirits out of people. Both Christianity and voodoo believe in exercising so-called spirits, so-called law. Well, in voodoo it's law, or in voodoo it's not the law they're exercising. Some evil spirit in people. So when you have somebody who's acting crazy in our time, if you take that person to the hospital, to some mental place, for a booby hatch, a mental asylum, the doctor's gonna say, "Oh, this person is crazy. We got some pills for him or her." That's gonna straighten him out or her, you know. But if you leave the hospital, the mental place, the mental institution, you take that same person to a voodoo place, a peristyle, a voodoo house, the voodoo priest gonna tell you, "Oh no, that person got spirits, bad spirits on him or her." So it's somebody who did some voodoo on that person and dropped some spirits on him. And that's why this person acting so crazy. And then if you don't believe the voodoo priest, then you say, "Well, forget you, voodoo priest. I think you're lying." Then you say, "Look, I'm gonna go to church instead. Let me find out from the pastor or the priest." And then when you get there, the priest gonna tell you, "Well, that person has some unclean spirits. So we need to do something. We need to take some holy water and start dumping on that person to make the spirits leave." So basically what the Christian pastors, priests gonna tell you about that person is the same thing the voodoo priest gonna tell you. So now you have to think, which one really gonna help me? The voodoo priest guy, the voodoo priest, or the voodoo priestess, or the pastor or the pastor's wife, or the priest? So you have to think. But for both religions, you have to pay something. The voodoo priest is gonna say, "Look, I can exorcise the demons, the bad spirits out of this person for you. But here's a price. You gotta give me a few sheeps, a few whatever you have, a few pigs, since they love eating pig, that grill, a few pigs, a few things. Then you're in business. Then we're gonna remove that spirit, those spirits, not even one, those spirits out of that person. So if you cannot afford to pay the onga or the boko, meaning the voodoo priest, or the mambo, the voodoo priestess, if you cannot afford that bill, then you can go to the pastor now or the priest. But you still gotta pay the pastors. You still have to pay tithe. So either way, you're paying 10% of your paycheck to the pastor, and that's every time you get a paycheck. That's more expensive than the voodoo priest. I think with the voodoo priest, it's just a one payment. You don't have to bring tithe, because the voodoo people, the voodoo priests, at least they're not going to the Bible and say, "Look, you people have to follow the tithe thing." But the other voodoo priests now, the pastors and the priests, Then they're gonna go to the Tanakh, to the Most High's law. They're gonna drop all the other laws, all the other 612 laws, because there's 613. They're gonna drop all the 612. They say, well, at least that one, the one that you have to bring me tithe, you gotta give me that every month. So my advice to you people who do have a crazy person in your house, supposedly have spirits according to the voodoo guy, and spirits according to the pastor, I think it is more feasible. It is cheaper to go to the voodoo guy, because he's only charging you a few goats, a few sheeps, and after this you're good. But the pastor, on the other hand, this guy is charging you like every month. You have to keep paying until you stop going to that church. So that's one similarity. That's one tradition. That's one teaching that clearly shows you it's the exact same teaching. Some guy acting crazy, funny, and then you're going to go to the pastor guy that's going to say, look, he got some spirits on him. And then he's going to use the Bible. You see, Jesus, for this guy that was acting crazy too. And then supposedly he did something. He made those spirits leave, jump out, and go to the pigs instead. So they're going to use that, although nobody was there when Jesus did that. You know that's a Bugs Bunny story. So the Christian pastors, priests, bishops, deacons, whatever they call themselves. So this is how they view somebody acting crazy. It has to be some spirits on him. While the voodoo priests now say, look, since it's the same exact religion, say, look, it is still spirits on that person. So they both gonna offer to exorcise those demons out of that person who got some mental problem. And then if you don't want to listen to either one, you don't want to listen to the voodoo priest or the voodoo priestess, or the pastor, nor his wife, or the priest, nor his boyfriends, whatever he, since they're into things like this, then you can you can choose to go now to a regular hospital, to the other voodoo priest now, the other voodoo priest called doctors, the other wizards, and then they're gonna give you some liquid, some pills to give to the person to try to exercise whatever spirits that person has in him or her. And then you find out, you take that person that was crazy, you take him first to the voodoo priest. Nothing happened. That person is still crazy, or worse, crazier. And then you take that person now to the church, and the pastor gonna make you pay your tithe every month. Now you have a monthly bill now, or a weekly bill, because every Sunday they pass the baskets. Every Sunday you gotta pay, just because you had somebody that was acting crazy and the voodoo guy couldn't help. Now you take that person to him, to the church, to the Baptist church, to the Catholic church, to whichever church, to the Seven Adventist church, to the Jehovah's Witness, to the whichever ones, and then the person's still acting crazy. Now you lost your money from the voodoo priest guy who took it, and then the person's still crazy. Then you bring more money to the pastor and the priest and the imam, is Muslim or whatever other religion, to the Hindu guy, and then the person is still crazy. You still had to pay money. Now you got a monthly bill. Not even a bill, that's a debt. You have a monthly debt that you got to pay now every month until you tell the pastor, I'm not coming back anymore. And then after this, you got to find more money to take him or her to the doctor, to the crazy doctor now. And you find out after 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months or a year, that person that person used to be crazy, like they would say in Creole. That person used to be fool. Then after a year, that person's not fool anymore. We have this word called enragé. That person is worse than fool now. That person's going crazier. So now you lost your money from the pastor, money from the voodoo guy, then you lose your money from the doctor. Now you broke with a crazy person with a mental problem that there's no cure for, because the Bible, the Tanakh, already tells you the worst disease you can have is that mental disease. That's the worst sickness. It says, look, a person say in the book, I believe in the book of Proverbs, please, so-called God, please y'all give me any sickness except that sickness, because that sickness there is definitely no cure for it. That's a curse. Somebody become crazy, any crazy person. Here's my advice: the voodoo guy is not gonna help. The voodoo guy or the voodoo gal, the priest or the priestess is not gonna be able to help you with that. The pastor with his exorcism, or the priest with his exorcism, not gonna help. And definitely that doctor, that crazy doctor at the hospital, still not gonna help. That person, oh wow, you have that sickness, you're doomed. So that was part 3 of how voodoo and Christianity is the same religion. They have that exorcism, deception that they teach, that they can exorcise spirits, unclean spirits out of people, because Jesus told them, if you follow me, whatever he was doing, you're gonna be able to do more than him, which is a lie. None of these pastors or priests are doing more than what Jesus was doing, because I'm still waiting to see one of these pastors turn water to wine, because they will definitely be in business. So Jesus lied about that one. Jesus, who is really Ogu was a dead guy that died a long time ago, that people still worshiping as if this guy is a spirit. He's a lawyer gonna help you. Ogu's not gonna help you. I already had other videos where I asked Ogu for the lottery numbers when I was young. I never received no numbers. So Ogu, again, that was a joke. That was a lie. So unless Ogu was being prejudiced, Ogu just didn't like the way I looked. But he claimed that he could give me the numbers when I was 12. So Ogu, you're a liar. Jesus is Ogu. That's another liar. Here's one beef I have with the Jesus thing. That's what made me stay away from that Jesus guy. I'm trying to end this video right now. There are a couple of scriptures that Jesus in the so-called New Testament. They said Jesus said, he was talking to a few people. He said, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death until they see the Son of Man comes back. That's a lie. Because he was talking to a group of people. He said, look, there's going to be some of you here that's not going to die until you see me go to heaven and come back. That's lie number 1. The day I woke up and started to analyze that lie, I'm like, look, Jesus, you were lying. Because you said some people you were talking to that were listening in those days, they're not going to die until you come back. And it's been more than 2,000 years. And you never came back. You were supposed to come back as a thief in the night. First of all, why would you even use the word thief to talk about yourself? Now you see why the pastors and the priests, they are stealing people's money. Because the main guy they worship, that Ogu guy, that, like the voodoo priest, they refer to themselves, well, the leader, the Jesus guy, refers to himself as a thief. So that's why these you got the pastors stealing the other dudes, the other pastors' wives. They're stealing people's money. You got the priest, a bunch of all type of stealing going on. And then there's another scripture that says, and it says, this is Jesus again. This generation shall not pass until all be fulfilled. You know how many generations that passed? And your all did not get fulfilled. Your all fulfillment of your all was supposed to be you go to heaven and come back with all your angels, all your lois, all your spirits coming back to create havoc over here and start taking things down, breaking things. None of that happened. And to make things worse, then you have another liar called Paul in the New Testament. He came back and said, well, as if Jesus' lies, those 2 lies weren't big enough. He said, well, the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Look, a night far spent. So in other words, the day's about to happen. How long does it take for a day to come? If the night is already spent and the day's at hand, it doesn't take that long. That's like me telling somebody at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning and say, look, the night is almost over. Day's definitely about to be here. Give it a couple of hours, you're gonna start seeing the sun. And then to make things worse, 2,000 years passed. The day never came. So with this, I'm gonna say shalom. Until next video.